some toys in here.
Hey, what's up everyone? Today is the Man-Child. Okay, so today for review, going to go over the Masters Universe Origins Turtles of Grayskull Mossman figure, or Mutated Mossman figure, which is Walmart exclusive. So he's hitting certain Walmarts now in the West Coast area, California area. Mine came from online, from California. So start checking your Walmarts. I gotta say, another figure in hand as far as the Turtles of Grayskull box figure set figures go. I'm impressed. I think they did a great job with a lot of these exclusive in box figures overall, from the ones I have and the reviews I did on them. And Mossman's another one to add to the list. Just the overall design. I love the translucent, loose in colors, but of course, with the green going back to Mossman's aesthetics and overall design. All the cool accessories you get, and again, it comes with a really awesome box as well. And taking a little closer look at the front of the box, so of course Mossman comes with the Turtles of Grayskull exploding logo, like all the Turtles of Grayskull figures come with. Some Cosmos in the background as far as art, and they just have two different images of Mossman. You can see, or illustrated images of Mossman now. Again, it's pretty cool. It just looks like he has different tendrils, or say some type of organic roots going on, or tentacles that he can snap on the background. And he also comes with like a man-eating plant accessory as well. And dropping down, of course, the box also has the Master Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cross sticker on the front. And you can see some additional art. Looks like inside of a sewer. You got some pipe systems going and ooze all around. And here's a quick look at the art on the back of the box. Look at that. Incredible, like all the Origins art. And of course, Turtles of Grayskull art's doing the same thing. So we have Leonardo here in the swamps fighting our mutated Mossman. But look at all the everything going on with this particular character and piece of art, and you get all this stuff with the figure. You even get like some type of mutated bioluminescent plant blade as well, which is pretty cool. And here's a closer look at Mossman's bio. You want to pause and read that. And then dropping down, here's some of Mossman's action features you can see in the illustrated, the kind of cross-sell thing they got going on. So yeah, that other weapon, they call it, okay, yeah, fly trap. But check it out. You can use it on his hand as some type of like weapon / shield. And it looks like you can also replace the head as well with that. And now here's another little piece of art of Mutated Mossman on the left hand of the side of the box, looking in from the window. So just kind of having this traditional form with that weapon on the left hand. And now here's a look at the art on the right hand side of the box, looking in from the window. Look at that with that Venus flytrap thing on his head. Looks like John Carpenter's a thing or something, but all in green as a plant matter. All right, so I got Mossman out of package, and before we go over the figure and accessories, now he does come with a trading card. Kind of like Crane come with, so it's not a comic, but really incredible art in the front. So we just have our Mossman set up with the regular head on. You see the tentacles in the background. He has that Venus flytrap thing on the arm there. And then if we flip it around, kind of just shows his overall abilities and how he's set up now with the mutation, which is pretty cool. And now, here's a quick look at Mutated Mossman, all accessories you get out of the package. This figure is so cool. Again, just with his overall design and all these accessories you get. I was playing around with them a little bit. Of course, we're going to go over them all and, put them on, all good stuff. But, yeah, wow, really over the top. Now, another point I want to bring up, too, is he does not come with a Build-A-Figure part for Metal Botto. All right, so if you're not familiar, I'm going to bring in Mousejaw for a second. I still have him card. I never reviewed him because, I don't know, there were so many out there, and I just never got to it, But from what I understand now, the figures that are Target exclusive figures, as far as the Turtles of Grayskull line of box sets, are the ones that are going to come with the Metal Botto Build-A-Figure parts. So we know Mousejaw comes with one of them. Slaker is the next figure to come next month. He's going to be Target exclusive. He also comes with a Build-A-Part. But figures like Mossman and Crane are Walmart exclusives, and yeah, they don't come with those parts. So I want to kind of point it out. And that's also what I read too, because I was surprised why Mossman and Crane didn't come with parts, and I believe that's why. But anyway, side that, you get some really awesome stuff with this guy. And now, taking a closer look at Mutated Mossman's head and head sculpt, I mean, just awesome. Yeah, look at all the detail of sculpting. It's the hair around the face, but yet it has like a little clean area around the mouth and where the teeth are. He has an open mouth. They even have the teeth sculpted and painted in there, which is pretty cool. Red glowing eyes. Kind of looks like the Wolfman a little bit, though, with the sculpt. Now, let me bring in a quick comparison. I'll bring in another one later. So, obviously, this was the vintage-inspired, right, Origins release Mossman. And this is supposed to be this figure, but yet mutated from that Turtle Ooze. But, yeah, it's a whole different head sculpt design. I mean, obviously, this is head sculpt and flocked. but this was a Beastman head too, as we all know. But totally different. Yeah, it's just a mutagen, right? It's mutated, but it's different. It's not the same, even though you're trying to sculpt something that's flocked. It's just its own thing going on. But yeah, again, it looks like Wolfman to me. Just the way the ears are, the ears are, the hair goes back. Okay, you can see that. There's the back of the head. But really cool. It works great for this mutated Mossman. So as far as the articulation with his head, we can go all the way left to right. Go down about that far and back. And let's see. So let me pop the head off the ball peg, see what that looks like. And here's a close look at the ball peg. So it's just a standard Origins ball peg. Now we get a little closer look at the neck and just again, all translucent plastic and the extra painting detail we have. And here's the head and the inside of it off the body. All right, so putting the head back on, moving down to the chest and butt area. So, of course, this new mutated Mossman comes with his own unique redesigned armor piece. Yeah, it looks like just all kinds of plant material woven together. Some type of toxic plant material, I'm assuming. It's like light purplish in color, and you can even see it comes with 2 shoulder guards as well, which we'll remove all the stuff a little bit. But yeah, really cool design. Has some spikes up in here. You can see all the root vine or root systems, how it's just, again, all woven through the armor itself. He has a chest plate here, obviously, that's looks like it's a different piece and glued or snapped into the main armor. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a toxic flower kind of thing as part of the armor, or bone material maybe. Looks like it could have been a skull at one time. So flipping them around. So right, just look at the back. Now we can see these are the 2 plugs, obviously, that those vine translucent tentacles will go in, which we'll get to in a little while. But yeah, really cool detail. I just love all the different sculpting. Again, you got a combination of spines or bones and root material, organic plant material and stuff like that. Now you can see, so to remove this, looks like there's a plug there. And let me see. All right, so okay, so you pop that forward, and then looks like the armor goes over the head, but in order to remove it, looks like I got to take the head off again. And now taking the head off again, so the armor can come off. And to get the lower piece off, looks like we got to break the waist in half. And then with the waist in half, we can remove the whole piece of armor. Now here's a closer look at that armor off the body. So it's pretty flexible. Again, we know how you can see that little plug, how it snaps together. And now putting the head back on the body once again. Here's a closer look at mutated Mossman with the armor off the body. So bring him in for a closer look one more time. We can see that, yeah, it's just a typical He-Man Skeletor style buck, or what the first release Origins Mossman already has, but of course translucent in color, greenish obviously in tone. Yeah, you can see some of the mutated ooze effects, I guess, going through the body. He even has a sculpted fur, Beastman buck, I guess we'll call it, right? There's the front and the back, so yeah, it has all the sculpted fur as already mentioned. Now I'm going to bring in the light and I want to check out the translucent effects through the body. That's pretty cool. I love that the concept and the idea of these figures being translucent like down to the ooze. And they're all different colors, whether it's the mutated Ram Man, first release He-Man, and now Mossman. I'll bring those other 2 later in for comparisons. So I'm going to leave the armor off for now because it doesn't hinder anything with the articulation. So let's move down. So we know he comes apart and can spin at the waist. Of course, put the waist back on head. So moving over to the arms for a minute. They look like just regular Beastman arms, what I can see. As I already mentioned, he also has this, rooted kind of shoulder armor, plant material going over the main shoulders and biceps. Now it looks like so you can see the overall designs. They look identical on both the left and right side, but I don't know if it matters how you put them on. No, I don't think it does. Anyway, it looks like they have a strap and it doesn't break, so to pull it off, it looks like you're going to just kind of maneuver this strap and piece and slide it down the arm. You got to work it out like so. And then once you bring it down the arm, it's going to slide over the hand. And now one of those shoulder guards off. Here's a close look at the arm. So again, it's just, Beastman arm. You can even see the fur and the sculpting on the forearm itself. So as far as the articulation without that piece, it's going to go up, down, forward, back. We know he can bend at the elbow. He can go all the way up to the face. He has really good articulation. Moving down, he has a wrist bracer. You can see it's just Beastman wrist bracer. They're both identical on both the right and left side. And they're all part of sculpted paint, it looks like. And then this mutated Mossman comes with different hands. So they're not Beastman or He-Man hands, as you can see. They're kind of their own design. Really stiff. I got to say, they're hard, like to get a weapon in. But they got nails. Pretty cool. And they can spin, and the hinge joints go in and out on both sides. And then jump to the left side, leaving this piece of armor on at the moment. I'll do the articulation now. So he can go up about that far. It does get hindered, but the armor is soft enough to move. So down, right, back and forth, the whole deal. Can bend at the elbow, up to the face, pretty close. And as I said, this hand is same, identical hand to the right side, a weapon gripping kind of hand. Also really hard and plastic. And now you can see these are regular Origins pegs. You can actually see that inside the arm. But so I'm just going to remove one of the hands just to show you. And here's a look with that hand out of the arm. This is really difficult to take out. You got to heat it up and be extra careful with these. Translucent plastics too, they break easy. And these Origin peg designs, these smaller ones, you mess around too much with these, they can snap. I've had it happen. So be really careful. But I just want to show you that's the overall design of the peg. And I'm going to put this hand back in at the moment to finish up the articulation. But later on, it's going to be important to put in that other flower or Venus flytrap weapon piece. All right, so obviously I put the hand back in. I'm going to remove this other shoulder bicep guard off the left side over the hand. And now here's a little closer look at those two pieces off the arms. Sorry, this one's upside down. So yeah, they look identical to me. You can see how they go on. And just the overall design. It doesn't look like it matters which one goes on the left or right side. And now taking another look at Mutated Mossman with all the armor pieces off, so we can take a better look at the overall body without anything on. So we already checked out the head. We know it's a different head sculpt. We know that the buck and arms is a Beastman buck rather because of the fur sculpting. We know the hands are different. We know he spins at the waist, comes apart at the waist. I already showed, pretty easy for customization. Again, he's his own thing. I don't know what parts would swap out, but it's whatever you'd like to do if you're a customizer. Moving down as far as the legs, so as far as the articulation, go all the way out. Kick forward about that far. Go back. Bend all the way up at the knee, which is pretty cool. This figure, yeah, it's good articulation with the joints in my particular figure. Can spin at the knee. The other thing too now, so moving down, it kind of looks like he also has Beastman. So they look like Beastman or He-Man legs. I mean, Beastman, of course, once again, like Stratos has because of the fur. But it seems to me they look a little taller. Like there's a different transition piece in here. If you can see that. I'm going to bring in Mossman again one more time for comparison. But let's move down to the feet. And then, of course, he has different feet now. Yeah, look like some type of creature, bird-like feet. But, yeah, something, I don't know, mixed with organic plant matter. And as far as the feet, they can spin, go down and up. Like so. And it looks like, so they don't come off. But it looks like these other pieces, these extension pieces, you want to heat them up, they can come off. You could put regular boots on if you wanted to. Yeah, which are really difficult to take apart. I'm not going to bother with it. So bringing in the other Mossman again. All right, show comparison. So yeah, he is taller. So these are different, definitely different extensions in between to make this figure taller. But he's not larger as far as a buck and stuff. I thought he was in the package. But you can see the overall design. We already went over all the articulation. Okay, so a couple other things I wanted to try before we get into the parts and accessories on this Mutated Mossman is I want to do a complete breakdown. So I did use a blow dryer to make things easier, but we know the head comes off. I already showed that before, a couple times now. Here's the overall body. We're familiar with the ball peg. Here's the inside of the socket of the arm. I just wanted to confirm that the arm is removable. I don't see why it wouldn't, but it's tricky sometimes with these translucent plastics. I removed the hand once again. Right. Here's our legs with the yeah, he has typical loincloth and belt. I didn't mention that earlier, obviously, but we already went over the articulation. I also did with I had the blow dryer out, remove one of these feet. So just to confirm that they come off what it looks like, standard Origins peg, which, should have known. And going back to the feet, I'm going to bring in the Skeletor for a second, back to back with this particular foot or boot kind of thing for this Mutated Mossman. So yeah, you can see that a typical MOTU style Origins boot, whether it's He-Man or Skeletor in this case, is shorter and this has a longer leg. And of course you can put Skeletor boots, He-Man boots, whatever you want on this Mossman. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, some people like that. I think it's his own thing just because of the translucent effects and mutation. But I just wanted to confirm what all the parts look like and how they come off. Alright, so of course I put Mossman's parts all back together again. And the other thing I want to try too is put the Origins first release Mossman head on his body. It's my little custom thing going here. Just see what it looks like with different head on. Of course, Mossman makes sense to put it on a Mossman body because it's who he was before he turns into this, obviously. The articulation's all the same. But yeah, you can do that. You can swap out arms. I already said boots, whatever you want. Yeah, again, it looks, I don't like it. It's not my thing. I like the translucent head, but you can do that if you wanted to. And now jumping back to the Origins first release Mossman, or vintage inspired Mossman. So of course you can see I tried to put the mutated Mossman armor pieces on the arms, and the chest armor on works good. Now these can go up more. I really didn't want to do this because the more you mess with this figure, with these type of arm mans that slide up and down, the flocking starts to break away. So you gotta be careful with that. And of course I put the mutated head on just to see what that looks like. Well, with this Mossman, and this you gotta, okay, I forgot to clip that. There you go. And that snaps together, but it works, and it's something different. And now here's a look with the same setup, but I just put Mossman's head back on that body. And now, once again, jumping back to the mutated Mossman, so I just wanted to use the Origins Mossman Beastman variant armor parts from that set on this mutated Mossman, so you can see what that looks like with the armor. Of course, I have the regular head back on, the two shoulder guards, and they work good. And then lastly, with the same setup, I also wanted to try that alternative Mossman variant head that came in the Mossman pack on this setup with the armor on. Of course, this one's not flocked, and it goes back to the Lord of Power Beastman concept or design, so you want to check that out. Yeah, I think that looks a little better not being flocked, and the design and the colors, the mix with this body, with whether you want to use this armor, his armor, if you want to try something different for customs. And I also figure why I still have that alternative head on, I just wanted to throw that traditional armor back on and see what that setup looks like on this body with the armor and the shoulder armor piece comes with that head. And I did reverse these, the left, how they come in a box, so they work either way. So you want to check that out. Again, it looks, yeah, it can work pretty cool with this head, in my opinion anyway, for a custom setup. Okay, so moving forward with mutated Mossman's accessory. So of course he comes with these rooted vine tentacles, which are, yeah, these are really cool. I'm a sucker for anything that's translucent, and especially tentacles. I always thought it was creepy and looks cool on certain figures. So there's, you can see the pegs. It's going to go into that armor piece that I already mentioned earlier in the video. As far as the sculpting and design, they both look identical. I already, as I mentioned, they're translucent but cast in a purple color. They're pretty hard plastic. They don't bend, obviously. They're sort of pre-posed. But yeah, really cool accessory to put on this mutated Mossman. And now bringing Mossman in once again, all set back up with his head and armor and all good stuff. To put these on, so it technically doesn't matter from what I can see. I mean, you could just, you know, we'll just take this one for instance. You just snap in the peg. It does articulate. But now the larger tentacle piece with this curve is at the bottom, and this one's up top. Yeah, so this one looks larger, and this one's a little bit shorter, and then we have the piece in the middle. And you can just switch it to the other side, which, again, it doesn't seem like it matters just how you want to pose them. I like that better. And, okay, curves in. It kind of looks like they go like that. So that side will go on there, you know, look like that. And then we'll put this side on the left side. And now with both tentacles on, again, it doesn't seem to matter left or right. There's a closer look at that setup. Yeah, that's really creepy and cool for this mutated Mossman. And so, of course, looking at him from the front now, as far as the articulation, you can kind of go down and go about that far because it hits the other one. The other side's all the same. Yeah, again, they don't really, they bend, you kind of wobble them around because the armor's soft. They're meant to look like that. Again, they're not on bendy wires or flexible that can wrap a figure up. But yeah, pretty creepy looking. Now let me reverse them and see what that looks like from the front. And now I just switched them around on the back, and so you kind of see how the articulation works. So now just go all the way down to the leg, go up about that far. Your sides are all the same. So it just depends how you want to position them, but they work either way. And yeah, again, just takes this Mossman, mutated Mossman, to a whole nother level. So moving on to his next accessory, comes with this translucent plant/vine mutated claw weapon. Check that out. I mean, it has its own greenish color. It's different from the main Mossman body, as you can see. Now it looks like this is going to wrap around maybe the wrist, and you have a handle here. Right? You see that. Yeah, but check that out. Really doesn't articulate. It's all pre-posed, but really cool. Just the overall design, sculpting. And I noticed in here, too, I'm like, what is that clear? What is that supposed to mean? I guess it's a vial of the turtle ooze or something like that that's wrapped in this that mutated this particular weapon. And now setting up Mossman with this claw root/vine weapon. So from what I've seen in the directions, it doesn't show this in his hand. From what I could see in the images, almost looks like this can clip onto the wrist if you wanted to, but it doesn't hold well. But yeah, it definitely looks like a handle to me. It would make sense. Again, I'm just going to put this on the left side for now. It pushes through the hand and this rests on top maybe. And now there's a look with that setup. Yeah, really cool. Now, his accessories are really heavy. When you put these tentacles on, he feels like he wants to fall backwards. You can adjust the legs. Now my articulation is really tight, so he's holding. And then when you put this on, he wants to fall forward. So you might put a figure stand or just kind of balance him out. And now, moving on to Mutated Mossman's final two accessories. So these are some of the most impressive ones in a box. I mean, to be honest with you, they're all pretty impressive. But so this is that fly trap, they call it. Look at that. Look at the detail, the sculpting. Wow. It's a heavy piece, too. So you can see that it, now it has a plug in the back here with this extension piece, okay, or transition piece. Now you can see on the top part, it has a, a ball peg that's going to go in the neck to adapt this, to put this on the head. Excuse me, this is going to go in here and this will sit on the head. Okay, we'll do that in a little bit. So that's what this piece is for, but I think it also serves for him to hold it. Now it's not specific in the directions on the box, but you can see obviously this is a socket for the neck type ball peg that will go in there. And it looks like he would hold it in one of his hands by this, we'll call this a handle, because I wasn't sure at first, but that makes sense. Anyway, so taking a quick look at this, yeah, we have the socket in there, ball peg, just does articulate, again, translucent green color, match somewhat to the body, good details. So getting back to this fly trap, I mean, look at that. And it articulates too, so this whole piece closes from one side. Now, the inside of this mouthpiece is sculpted to this, so, molded in red, and then of course you can see how it's painted here. So the one side, we'll just call it the left side, looking at it, in a forward direction, closes. That's awesome. It even has this little articulated poisonous tongue piece, right, or poisonous root that also, does that articulate? Looks like it's plugged and glued in there. It is translucent. You can see where the hinge joint is in there. So that's that's flexible, but it moves with this whole outer piece that closes. But yeah, it closes. Check that out. And opens. And not only that, but it does spin all around and articulate as well. Yeah, that's an awesome accessory. Wow. So going back to this neck arm transition piece, right? We already looked at the fly trap, so we know that this ball peg is going to just snap in there like so. And then with this piece into the fly trap itself, it's full of articulation, spin all around, spin and yeah, rotate left, right, all around. And now here's our Mutated Mossman once again, all set up with the tentacles, the armor on, that claw weapon. We're going to put this in hand like it illustrates on the box. So, right, we already went over the articulations transition piece, but I believe, at first I thought the hand was going to pop off and that would snap in, but it would need an adapter piece. I'm like, I don't see anything like that in the box, or I'm missing something. I think that would be a little cooler, if they did something like that, but it just looks like to me in this hand, or the right or left side, I'm just going to stick with the right side. Yeah, it's just going to, the hand's just going to hold this like that. And now there's somewhat a look at that setup. I mean, yeah, it's full articulation. That's how it's meant to go. Hold it in the hand like that. It's like a pistol grip kind of thing. Really cool, but he's impossible to balance. I mean, I thought this piece was heavy. This is twice as heavy. And not only does the arm fall down, I mean, whether it's in the elbow or even at the shoulder, it's kind of mess around with it. But yeah, it's like you'd have to put this under a stand or something, or it depends on the articulation of your figure, but he can't even hold it. It's just so heavy with the weight, at least in my figure. And even if I can put some joint fix or something in the arm or put a stand under it, right? I mean, just balancing him, yeah, it doesn't work. It just falls forward. Wow, a lot of weight to this. Not very practical on the hand. I mean, it is possible. So, yeah, we'd have to put some kind of figure stand, which I have a bunch of them, and put something under this, or maybe set this up like around one of your figures. That's probably, I would say that would make the most sense, but yeah, there's no way my figure's holding this because of weight. So going back to trying to hold that fly trap weapon up, holding it in hand like Mossman is. Of course, I brought in Leonardo, going back to that art on back of the box, those two battle in the swamps. So setting them up in your diorama without a figure stand, you can sort of pose Mossman like this with that trap on Leonardo, whatever character you want to, and then that can work and help hold everything up. Not only the arm, but Mossman himself, if you didn't want to put figure stands. I kind of think that's how it's meant to work with this accessory or weapon on one of his hands. And now the last thing I want to do as far as Mossman's accessories and what this fly trap accessory weapon is meant to do. So we already checked it out in the hand, and it's not the most practical thing unless you would put it on a figure, put some kind of stand under it. So we know this piece also is going to serve as a transition piece for the an adapter rather for the neck. So of course I have to pull the head off one more time. And now bring this adapter piece on, snap it over the ball peg. We know that's a socket for a particular head ball peg in there, and it doesn't look like it matters as far as these, it can't go this way obviously because the shoulders. So either way, I'm just going to snap it on this way with the larger tentacles out. And now there's a look at that setup. That is really over the top and creepy, once again, for this mutated Mossman figure. That is a cool mutated effect I've seen yet in any of these Turtles of Grayskull mutated figure line. Now again, it's really heavy. You're trying to mess around, balance them. My feet are getting really loose. Okay, works like that. And I am rotating a little bit, which ain't gonna make sense. It'll make them want to fall forward. But taking a closer look at that, now I did have the tentacles fall out trying to mess this around. They pop right back in. You still have the articulation with these, right? You can see that. Now with this neck piece on, yeah, it makes sense to me to put these longer sculpted ones out towards the chest, because back here I think they're going to get in the way, but it doesn't matter if you want to take tentacles off. But so you still have articulation with this piece on, right? Kind of rock all around. You can, okay, still spin out left to right with these pieces on. And then again, this fly trap thing has its own articulation, can move all around, so you can have them looking kind of forward. Go about that far forward with that neck piece. And this closes as well, right? Go back. Remember I said spins all around. Now, I wonder, yeah, I'm pushing the limits here. We could put a figure up in this so I could grab them and can hold them up. So let me try that. I'm going to have to use a figure, so I don't know if it's going to work, but let's see what that looks like, trying to balance a figure on this fly trap close on the neck with the setup. Okay, and there you go. What better figure bringing in He-Man? Does hold them. I mean, all the, this does fall forward, but it does work with the articulation. But of course, the problem's going to be in the feet and knees and hips and stuff like that. There's a lot of weight going on there. So as I already mentioned a couple of times, you can use a figure stand, but for the most part, it does work and look creepy. And I just kind of, grabbed it around the leg. You could grab it around the body or the head or something like that. This tongue piece kind of gets in the way. It just depends on the figure. Now, we can use one of the turtles, too. I think they're really heavy. I just thought He-Man would be a good example, so you can flip them around, grab like that. But there is enough room in here with this piece and tongue, and I'm wondering, too, maybe you can even lock this tongue like around the leg or something. Okay, there you go. That even holds it better, and then close this, or one of the arms or something. And another thing you can do, too, while I'm messing around with this, is you can take this neck extension piece off, so technically you don't need it to put this fly trap on the neck, and it does work, and he's even balanced better now. I mean, you can spin it all around. Depending on how you position it. Oh, there you go. That too works good and looks pretty cool. So you don't really need that, but you can also have this set up and take this neck extension piece with the hand grip and put the Mossman neck, or head rather, on that for also something cool and creepy with this mutated Mossman. Oh, one of these things fell out. Yeah, you got to mess around. These things are a little loose, but wow, it's amazing the accessories you get and what you can do with this guy. Alright, so moving forward with a few side-by-side comparisons. So you can see I just set the mutated Mossman up like this again, or at least I took this fly trap off the head. This is, really cool looking piece. But yeah, it's kind of its own thing going on there. And I think I'm going to leave him set up like this at the moment. Let's leave the weapon hand. We have tentacles on. I like that neck extension piece and put the head on. Just kind of makes him look a little bigger, but not too out of scale. So I have He-Man out. It's a side-by-side comparison with those two. Now, I just brought Raphael in for a different turtle because of the headgear and the armor against our mutated Mossman, so that's those two together as far as side-by-side comparison. And now here's a quick look bringing Shredder in against our mutated Mossman, so that's those two together. And now here's a quick look with the new Crane figure. That's also a Walmart exclusive like Mossman. You can just see the overall size and design, so that's those two together. Now, of course, I brought in a mutated Ram-Man against our mutated Mossman, so there's a look at those two together. And then for the last comparison, of course, I wanted to bring in a mutated He-Man against the mutated Mossman because he was another mutated good guy, obviously, like the mutated Ram-Man that went under the slime pit from the story. Now, with the Turtleoos and now, our bad guys serving Shredder and Skeletor against the good guys as mutants, which I think is a really cool concept for these. And I really like how all of these mutated figures come out, at least the good guys. Now, Mouse Jaw, I still have in package. He's okay. I always was a fan of Trap Jaw. I didn't think he was the most interesting, just kind of a color variant, size some in different accessories and stuff like that. But I really like the way they went about these mutant figures. And, of course, the mutated Ram-Man, like I already brought in, just with the translucent effects, larger parts, different armor, the heads, the overall designs. Just, yeah, really cool. Okay, so that's my overall review on the new Masters Universe Origins Turtles of Grayskull Mutated Mossman figure. I gotta say, I am overly impressed. One of the coolest figures yet. And I gotta say, so you can see, once again, I brought in Krang and a mutated Ram-Man. We have all these figures together. I think out of all the Turtles of Grayskull line, these are three of the most impressive figures. I'll be honest, I like most of the line. I like the Turtles the way they come out, and I was never really Turtles a collector, but I think they work good with the Origins. Shredder looks awesome, especially with his head, and he can work on different bodies. But these are really three of my favorite. And that mutated He-Man was pretty cool too. But this figure, what you can do with him, like I showed, I mean, you couldn't really ask for more. They really went all out. I mean, you know, we're seeing that with the packaging art, but the accessories and what he can do now, you can see just touching him how heavy he is. Falling forward, that's something you got to mess around with it. But the weapons, the accessories, just things you can do with this neck piece, from the hand with this fly trap, or put this on the head with the extension or without it. I mean, really cool. The new armor's neat, and I love these translucent green colors. And again, going back to like Mutated Ram Man, really cool with the translucent purple. And then you go to the He-Man, he has like a gray, bluish translucent color. And then Krang too in his own way, just the overall design, how he can come apart. Now, he's not translucent, but yeah, they really go all out with some figures. And some figures are like, you know, it's just like hit or miss. I'm really impressed with these. Now, the other point I want to bring up too, kind of off subject, but on subject. I did get my Mattel Creations Rock on in. I'll review them as soon as I can. I think most people get these. It's just another rock figure, but all new tooling. And I wanted to make a point of that because a lot of people are mixed on the Turtles of Grayskull line. They either like them or they cherry pick, or it's not their thing. So I respect that. I really like them. Now, of course, I want all the vintage-inspired figures finished up, like a lot of us do. And going back to the comments, a lot of people don't like this line because they think it's interfering with the vintage, you know, figures we all want, or it's going to hurt the line. I mean, Mattel did announce, and they are coming out more figures. So we have Rock on, you know, Stone Joint Far, Cyclone's around the corner, Extendar. They already announced Too Bad, but he's going to be like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which stinks, but maybe we'll get another chance to get him. Yeah, they're coming. I like everything. And what I think what's cool with this Turtles line, this Turtles of Grayskull line, it's just the way they're designing them. You know, some bucks and parts are redesigned, obviously. Some they're just using Origins aesthetics, like this Mossman and He-Man. I don't know, it looked like something that could have been in the 80s line to me. You know, if the Turtles existed in the MOTU line, they would cross the way they're doing it, but a lot better with detail and sculpt. I'm really happy with them. Anyway, going back to Mossman, definitely one of my favorites as far as the mutant figures this year. You got to get them. So as I mentioned, he's a Walmart exclusive. He's starting to hit certain stores now. I say within the next month or two, he's really going to start ramping up. And yeah, you'll be finding him on shelves like the Mouse Jaw now. It's coming around. I think he's great. So I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, take care.